The given system of financial planning includes a concept known as funds. What does that mean? Well, let's say that it's Thursday, 2 p.m. A little flag on the chess clock dropped already. The week is over, and you still have a pouch of money left. And when you get to the financial planning procedure, you now have to allocate the money correctly. Supposing that during the current, or rather during the upcoming week, you don't have to pay taxes, but you do have tax money in this pouch. So you take part of it and allocate it to the tax fund, so that you have the full amount available when the time of setting the tax obligation comes. The same goes for rent and other payments. Let's say that you pay $10,000 in rent money monthly. So, accordingly, how much money do you need to allocate to rent this week? $2,500. 1/4, that's exactly right. That's how financial planning works. Then it so turns out that you always have money for all the expense items. You will get this data in writing. I will send it to you. I strongly recommend that you print it out and that each one of you take a piece of paper, a pencil or pen, sit down and look at the data in great detail, draw it out, clear up any misunderstood words, and really look at the way it's applied and so on. In other words, what I want to say is that this data is not easy to absorb just by hearing if you want to truly apply it accurately. Do you promise me that you'll do this? Yes, of course. Let me emphasize their utmost importance once again, and I'll show you how to use this data in a minute. We're going to look at some fundamental things that have to do with the financial planning procedure, and I'll show you how and where these 19 stable data wind into the picture. Do you think that when people ask for money, are there more of these requests, these purchase orders, usually? Are there always more of them than the money available? Naturally. Usually, yes. Hence, we get our first stable datum. An organization will try to spend more than it makes. L. Ron Hubbard. You agree with that datum as far as I understand, right? We do. Alright, now let's talk about a concept called the break-even point. You've probably heard of it. Yes? In this technology, that concept is called differently. It's called the Financial Planning Program number 1. But to keep it more familiar to you, I'll use the phrase the break-even point. So tell me, do you have an idea where the break-even point is for your company? Well, yes, of course. You do? Yes. Are you sure? I personally am not sure. Well, come on, surely. We know all the expenses but how do you know them? And what is the period you're looking at to know if you're hitting the point of break-even or not? If you're paying out the money you get in, randomly, off the cuff, you pay the money, and if moreover you allocate the money that you don't yet have, and so on. So when is that moment when you can see if you've hit that point or not? Well, we're still functioning somehow or the other, surviving. Sure, you're surviving, but you're not here and talking to me by accident, are you? Well, that's true. So, I want to show you right now, prove and show you that you have an erroneous concept of your break-even point. Don't you want to see? Sure. Go ahead and try. Tell me this, do you have a, corporate party for New Year's? How could we not? Of course. That's sacred, right? And where do you get the money? Well, from the checking account, of course. Actually, it turns out to be out of pocket for us. So it turns out that I pay for it, Dasher, and I do. I see. And that's the custom in your company, that the founder pays for the corporate New Year's party. Then that's fine. But if these are company expenses, then shouldn't they be included in that idea of the make-break point we talked about? They should be. Alright, that could seem like some minor detail to you, but either way, if it's not accounted for, it could influence where that point is. Because if the break-even point is calculated right, then all the expenses are figured into it. Let's carry on. Tell me this. Could someone sue you? Sure, someone could. And is that going to cost money? Well, yeah, it's not going to be free, alright. And where are you going to get that money? From the checking account and from the founders. Should I carry on? Here's the question for you. Mr. and Mrs. Founders, at which point do you pay yourselves? Well, whatever is left over is what's left over, as they say. So, last. Yes, last. Usually, all the founders answer this question exactly the same, without exception. But if you agreed with the first stable datum that an organization is going to try and spend more than it makes, then how much would be left? Nothing. Something like that. Tell me this, do you think that salaries are a sacred thing in a company? Of course. Pay attention to the reactions of your production and development managers, right? That's normal, and of course salary is a sacred thing. But the founder's money, well, not quite sacred, that can come last. After all, they get money as the manager and the administrative manager. Why do they need more? They also have a salary. Right, and do you intend to stay on those posts forever? The administrative manager and the general manager? We wouldn't want to, not forever. So, at some point down the road, you would like to put on the founder's hat only. Is that the idea? Well, that would be nice. And what were you going to make then? Then for sure we're going to make all that's left over, so it seems. Well, alright. I want to get the idea across to you that administrative expenses as well as salaries are the organisation's expenses. And so, they affect the break-even point.